Howdy folks, my name is Janaki.
And this is Madame Bathsheba.
And together we are Catomancy Tarot. So today I have a very special preview of my most anticipated deck of the year. It's When Olga Speaks, an collage oracle deck by Sasha Lopez. So if you've watched my channel over the summer, you know this is one I've been talking about for a while. It was kickstarted earlier during the summer, but unfortunately it was unsuccessful, which is crazy to me because it's so good. But Sasha was nice enough to kind of reach out and send me a preview copy. So today I'm going to kind of take you through the deck and share with you some of my thoughts. I've had this deck for about 2 weeks now and I absolutely love it. It's so good. It's so good. I'm excited to show you guys. And it's also been really cool to watch Sasha's process. She's documented her kind of experience making the Oracle deck on her Instagram page, which I'll link below, and her YouTube channel. And it's been really fun to get to see her process. And she's also been like really active in the community and getting some community involvement and input on the deck. So it's also been really fun to kind of, get to vote on polls and stuff like that. And so, yeah, so this is a very exciting deck. I believe she's going to relaunch the Kickstarter at the end of October. So keep an eye out for that. And I think she's currently working on writing the guidebook. So right now I'm only working with the cards, but the cards are so good. And I'm looking forward to getting my hands on the guidebook when it finally comes out. But until then, let's go ahead and just take a look at some of these cards.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. Since this is a Make Playing Cards prototype, it didn't come with a bag, but I went ahead and whipped up this little number, which I'm actually quite pleased about. I think it goes really well, especially with the backs. I'm quite pleased. And so, yeah, since this is a prototype, it's just printed on Make Playing Cards cardstock, which I'm honestly not mad at. I think the final version will be on a little bit of a sturdier cardstock, and it'll also be edged in black, I believe. So there's 56 cards in this deck, and it's divided into 8 different suits. Which are each governed by an archetype. And then there's, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cards in each of these little suits. So we'll go ahead and walk through them kind of one by one here. So we'll start off with the suit of the Elder. And so you'll see that each of the archetypes are indicated by these little stars or diamonds by their name, and so each of the cards within this governed by this archetype, you can see as all kind of different sorts of lessons. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. So first off, we have the Elder. And within this, we have ancestral protection. I feel like this is a good suit to kind of set the tone for this deck because the deck is called When Olga Speaks, and Olga was Sasha, the deck creator's grandmother, who I believe passed away several years ago. So this deck has a really kind of strong connection to her own ancestral work, and so I think that's kind of one of the like overall themes running through this deck. We have surrender. We have transience. And now this might be one of my favorite cards in the deck, if not my #1 favorite. it feels like haunted woods. I love these kind of like blurred figures and the like misty woods. This card is just like very haunting, and I love it a lot. I would love to have like a full size print of this one. We have cleansing ritual, creation, and the medicine. All right, next up, the next archetype is the storyteller. And as you can see, all of the images from this deck were taken from, I believe, 1960s and 70s Life magazines. So here we have communication. I love this image a lot. Joy is a temple. Memories. This is another one of my favorites. I really like how simple a lot of these collage images are, but this one is just like really so evocative for me, with the kind of dark room and these like older houses. I really love it. We have recharge, unconscious reality. This is another one of my favorites. I feel like I've seen all of these images so much that they've already just become like very iconic to me, and this is one of the ones where like I just love it so much. It's kind of perfect. Magnetic. This is one of the first images of the deck that I saw, and I was immediately sold. So that was the archetype of the storyteller. The next one is the seeker. And here is our seeker. And I feel like the suits are kind of subtle enough in this deck that you don't really kind of need to, you know, you can kind of take it or leave it. But it is like very coherent, and it makes a lot of sense to me. And you'll notice also all of the kind of cards in the same suit will have the same kind of coloring with the titles, which I think is a nice kind of subtle touch. We have offering. We have lessons. We have the hidden self. Take pause. And you'll notice that there's a lot of kind of like cityscapes, or just like a lot of urban landscapes in this deck, which is another thing that I really like about it. We have the journey and the inner altar. Next up, we have the protector suit. So here's our protector. We have let go, trust, inflamed. Another thing I really like about this deck is I think the keywords are all really usable and also like quite well balanced. So a lot of the keywords to me like make sense in terms of the kind of overall lessons and scope of each suit. And you get a good balance of kind of like more positive and more challenging keywords. And you can tell that Sasha has like been using cards for divination for, you know, years and years. And a lot of these keywords are like very usable. So something like inflamed could kind of mean any number of things. And I also just really like this. Like this is another just kind of like very evocative image. We have the hard choice. Boundaries. Again, kind of more of this sort of urban scape that's going on. And then resilience. Our next suit is the suit of the strategist. So here's our strategist. And one thing I wanted to kind of note and comment on is you can also tell that she's kind of engaging in like I don't know. I've noticed that there's kind of like one particular like I don't know if you would say lineage or like there's a group of collage oracle decks that are all also seem to be in conversation with one another, and I've got some examples, so I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So the very first collage oracle deck was the Tantric Dakini Oracle, which was made in the 1970s by Penny Slinger. And so here we have an image from that. This is kind of the Fool or the Joker from that deck. So we have kind of references to kind of mazes and board games and things of that sort. And then many years later, Mary Evans in her Road to Nowhere Oracle came up with this card, and she kind of talked about how she was kind of directly inspired by the Tantric Dakini Oracle. And then a little bit not too long after that, there's The Runners of the Sun by Amelia Rose. And she was also kind of in conversation, or like had Mary Evans' deck, was appreciating it. And then I know, I know that Sasha has this deck and was kind of enjoying it. And so, you know, I just thought it was interesting to kind of point out. I'm not saying that these artists, I'm not at all saying that these artists are like copying each other, but they're all kind of interested in similar themes. I don't know if you can hear my cat running around, but that's what that noise was. And so I just really like that there is this kind of like conversation or lineage or kind of like group of artists who are, you know, interested in similar things, and how you know, how they can kind of draw on and you know, yeah, they're kind of just in conversation with one another, which I think is really fun. So there's our strategist. We have obscured. I love, this is another image that I really, really love. Yeah, I like the simplicity of a lot of these images. Like this is kind of like just two rectangles, and there's a number of cards in this deck that are kind of the same format. But I really, it's I sometimes I think that some collage decks can get a little kind of visually cluttered, especially if they're kind of smaller, and these are a really good size, so there's a little bit more room for the images to breathe. But I really like the simplicity. There's kind of powerfulness to that. We have negotiation. Oh, the cat's come to kind of wreak havoc. Retreat. I love this one. We've exposed. Distracted. This is another one that I just kind of like viscerally feel. Like I know, like it just, I don't know, the images are just like really evocative for me. And then we have avoidance. So that was the strategist. And then next up we have the teacher. So here's our teacher. Cave you fear to enter. Perspective. Evoke. Guidance. Regret. Mend. So that was our teacher. And next up we have the ally, which is another really, really fun set of images. So here's our ally. And the lessons we have here are community. Again, there's a lot of like really beautiful kind of like inner city depictions in this deck. I know Sasha's, she lives in Brooklyn, but I really like, you rarely find scenes like this depicted in tarot and oracle decks. And there's something that's, I don't know, I love to see it. I love to see it. Then we have soul ties, synergy, tend, ease. This is another one of my favorite images. And grace. So now she's still working on writing the guidebook, as I mentioned. But this is one of the few cards in the deck where I feel like I really want to read about what's going on in this image. I'm usually really good at my critter identification, but I have no idea who these critters are or how they kind of relate to Grace. And like I have no idea what they are. They're kind of silhouettes or kind of giving me prehistoric megafauna vibes. But I'm not sure what they are. But overall, this deck has been really easy to kind of just pick up and start using, even without the guidebook. All right, so we have our last archetype here, and I think this is another kind of really, really powerful archetype. So we have the healing child, and so we kind of started off talking about the elder and kind of how this deck is a little bit of a sort of ancestral deck, but then we also have the suit of cards which kind of revolves around just, the idea of the healing child and healing childhood trauma, or maybe some kind of like inner child work. But I think that's also part of kind of like ancestral healing, is this kind of like attention to generational trauma and how it gets passed down. And yeah, this is a really lovely suit. So we have the healing child, and the lessons are rebirth, ambiguous grief, innocence, celebrate, forgiveness, and hope. Isn't that so sweet? I think it's so sweet. So there you have all of our different archetypes here. And as I mentioned, they're kind of all color coded. I really enjoy how they all sort of come together, and I think it's a really well-rounded deck, and I think a lot of the keywords are really usable in divination, whether you get kind of the archetypes or not. So what we'll go ahead and do now is I'm someone who really enjoys deck pairings, and this oracle deck is my absolutely my new favorite oracle deck, and I'm so glad I have this copy, even if it's kind of a prototype. And so we're gonna go ahead and do some deck pairings to see who this deck is gonna be friends with, because it's such a great all-around reader that I think it would be really fun to see what's gonna match. So let's see here. All right, so step one is, I think we need to ask our dear feline companion to give us some space here, kitty. Give us some space. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go sit on the couch. You like the couch. Well, what can you do? What can you do? The first pairings I want to show you are ones that I've seen Sasha use herself on Instagram and on her YouTube channel. Her favorite pairing is with this one, which is with the Drowning World. And I thought I'd do a quick show and tell with this one. Get some cards out of there. And There's a new deck that I just picked up. That's a mass market deck called 50 Plants That Heal. I think I saw this one first on Krista at Crochet Witch's channel, and it's a really cute plant photography deck. But I think they go really well with the Drowning World, and so I thought maybe the three of them might be good friends. What do you guys think? What do you think of this trio? Ooh. Yes, yes. I'm a fan of using, I feel like 3 is my max number of decks I'll use in a reading. After that, it just gets a little bit chaotic. But I think this is a promising combo. What do you guys think? Oh, especially with the flower one. Yes. So that is our first set of pairings. The other deck that I've seen Sasha use a lot with this deck is another Oracle deck, and it's one that recently came into my collection, and that is the Death Doula Oracle. Now, I'm not sure if I'm completely sold on this. I want to hear your guys' thoughts, mostly because I'm not sure how I feel about the big white borders on this deck. It makes it feel a little bit, I don't know, a little bit distant or clinical to me. How are we doing? Let's get a little more centered here. There we go. And I'm not sure how I feel about pairing decks with black borders with decks with white borders. And I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. I think that there's a lot of kind of like natural energy going on, and since this is an abstract photography deck, and collage can be a way to kind of interact with photography in an abstract way, I think it does work. I think I see it, especially when you have like similar color patterns going on here. I think I see it. And I'm not afraid to double oracle. I'll double tarot too. So it doesn't have to be just tarot and tarot or tarot and oracle. I'll mix and match. I think it's fun. I think I see it. Yeah, so that is another one of her kind of faves that I've seen her play with a lot on the gram. And the other deck that the two decks that kind of immediately came to mind in terms of pairing. There's my cat running around again. Gosh. The first one is another deck that for me has a similar kind of ancestral vibe going on, and it also has the black borders, and for me that's going to be the Mysteries of the Black Madonna by Hettienne Grobler. And I've been using this for some kind of daily draws recently, and I think there's something to it. Again, I feel like the black borders kind of just make it a little bit of a natural pairing for me, and there's something that feels kind of very I don't know. I think it works. What do you guys think? Yeah, because I think both decks have this kind of connection going on to kind of ancestral, sort of feminine ancestor kind of stuff with Olga and, the Madonna. Even though, and it's kind of different types of collage. This is kind of like physical kind of altars. But I think, for me, I think they kind of read really well together. and they have this similar kind of like maternal lineage kind of feeling going on. So for me, it kind of matches in that regards. And then the other deck that kind of immediately sprung to mind to pair with this was kind of a natural choice, and that's the Telesma Tarot. It's another collage deck. I was able to put Sasha in touch with Tara Cochran, the creator of the Telesma Tarot. And I think that Sasha's going to use the same printer that Tara did. And so if you have the Telesma, you can, and you're anticipating when Olga Speaks, I think it's going to be on a, it's the same printer, so expect the same kind of quality. And in terms of like size, it's a little bit smaller. It's pretty much the same width, but a little bit shorter than the Telesma. So it'll be, you'll still be able to kind of shuffle it in a way that you can't quite get your hands around the Telesma. But I think these are kind of like natural buddies. I think these are going to be really good friends. I'm really quite excited about this pairing. And now the Telesma is a collage deck that can feel very busy to me, you know, especially when you get into the kind of like the nitty-gritty stuff. And there's something about when Olga Speaks where there's just a little bit more kind of room, or they're a little bit less less filled to the brim, and I really appreciate it for that. There's you know, more isn't always better, but like that's not a kind of a diss on the Telesma Tarot in any way. There's this type of image just kind of does something else for me. It feels like very frenetic and very alive, where there's something that's a little bit more, I don't know, calming about when Olga speaks. But I really like this pairing. My cat is just running everywhere. I don't know what's going on with her today. But yeah, I think they're really, really quite lovely. Really quite lovely. So this is kind of my, if I had to decide one best friend, I think it would be this one. So another example of a collage deck that has kind of similarly kind of, for me, the images feel quite full, is the Aquamarine Tarot. So you can find this one and the Telesma. I think they're both on Etsy. And I acquired this this deck earlier in the summer. I've been on the fence about this one for a long time. Similarly, because I feel like some of the images are quite like full to the brim, or quite like busy in an overwhelming way. But I think that this artist has another kind of like very beautiful story where they're like through their art, they're you know, processing their mother's death. So it's another deck that has, you know, this kind of like maternal connection. And this is another deck where I'm not sure if I like pairing, you know, decks with, let's see if it'll focus for us a little bit more. I'm not sure if I like, I'm not sure if I like pairing like white bordered decks with black bordered decks. What do you guys think? Sometimes it works and sometimes I'm not super sure about it. But I think that the Aquamarine is a deck that I'm gonna have to like, it's gonna have to like really slowly grow on me. I do like that though. I think I do like that. And it's another deck that feels kind of, it feels a little bit more contemporary or urban, but there's also stuff in here that feels a little bit more older or vintage. But I think this is potentially another deck that could go really well. This is the kind of, you know, like we've got some of the majors over here. Like I really like, I really like the Magician card here. Sorry, going off topic, but I think it's because it has a little bit more kind of room, but something like this, I do get a little bit overwhelmed with. I think it's also the size, like this is the telesma is a little bit larger, so the images have a little bit more room to breathe. I'm not sure. Anyways, getting distracted here. Ha, 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 ha. It is really fun. So that's another, I think it does go. I think I'm convinced. I think I'm convinced. I think I need to maybe dive into the aquamarine a little bit more and give it a proper shot. Now, because a lot of the images here are from Life magazines in the 60s and 70s, I thought I would give my 70s photography deck a try. So this is a deck I got this summer for my birthday, and this is the Mountain Dream Tarot. And I'm not sure this one will fully work, but since the like photographs are from a similar era, I thought it would be worth a shot. And I think it might be okay. These images are borderless, so sometimes I feel like it's like it makes sense to match decks with borders of similar colors, but hey, you really don't have to. It's not required. And let's see. I'm curious. I'm curious about this combo. I mean, the Mountain Dream obviously has a very limited color palette. It's either black and white or sepia or these sort of color tinted images. But I think overall, I think the vibes are kind of, or at least the time period is similar. But I think, actually, like I think that works really well. But you have the black and white here and kind of the kind of more black and white images there. I think it could go. Yeah. Why not? Yeah. And then I guess the those were kind of the main decks I've been playing around with this alongside. And the last one is I'm also a Marseille reader, and sometimes I like to kind of try unconventional Marseille pairings. And so I'm going to give this one a shot and see what you guys think. So this is the Tarot Classic, which is a 70s deck. This is a vintage one. And I think the colors might be fun in terms of the Marseille decks that I have. I think it might go. I don't know. What do you guys think? I like the idea of Death coming to kind of pop these balloons with their scythe. And then you kind of have to like trust maybe this is a net underneath someone that, you know, when your balloons get cut, you have to plop into the net and trust that it'll be there. I don't know. But you know, I like the way you know, the Marseille is kind of like interactive in that way, and in that, you know, you can see you're just like reading into the shapes a bit. Well, I don't know. Maybe it is a little bit silly. But I don't know. I'm curious about collage with Marseille. Has anyone made a collage Marseille? I think, oh, see, like this one, this looks great. This looks like someone who wants to go on the camping trip, right? Uh, I don't know. I think it's fun. It's perhaps a little bit silly. But if anyone knows about a collage Marseille, I would be super curious. And then the offering with the cups, this is another one that I think I like this pairing. I think I like it. Maybe that's controversial. I don't know. So that kind of brings us to the end of what I think would go well with this deck. I don't think there's anyone else I really wanted to kind of show you. That's mostly what I've been playing around with. So I hope you've enjoyed this little walkthrough and kind of like experiment with When Olga Speaks. I hope that I will keep you guys posted about when the Kickstarter for this will relaunch. If you are interested, keep your eyes out. Also, I've been thinking about edging mine, maybe in a color other than black, since I know the Kickstarter version will have like matte black edges, but I can't decide what color. I was thinking maybe this kind of reddish brown. Ooh, that might be fun. Anyways, I'm very excited to show you this deck because it is my new favorite Oracle deck and a great example of a collage deck. So with that, thanks for joining me today. I will see you all next time. Bye for now.